Welcome back guys to another video. This is my British Grand Prix driver ratings. Enjoy. Kicking us off as usual, Valtteri Bottas. Started the sprint 19th, finished it 19th. Started the race 18th, finished 16th. I'm going to give Bottas a 6 out of 10. He was like alright this weekend. Definitely not the worst driver out there. But nothing too impressive to note off as well. So I think a 6 is valid, just slightly above a 5. So yeah, that's why I've given him a 6. Next up, his Cadillac teammate Sergio Perez started the sprint 18th, finished it 22nd. Started the main race 20th, finished it in 14th, which was a really good result, I felt. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Although I think Bottas outperformed him the entire weekend. His race result was a good result, and it wasn't a bad weekend by any means. So I think a 6 is the valid. And let's move on to our next driver. Now we move on to Franco Colapinto. Started the sprint 14th, finished it in 12th. Started the main race in 9th and finished there in 9th. I'm going to give him 8 out of 10. Good weekend, scoring points once again. But is it really that great? No. I think an 8 is really deserving for him. If anything, I should lower it. But yeah, I think 8 is the most suitable right now. Pierre Gasly now started at sprint 11th. Finished it in 11th as well. Started the main race in 15th. And just about finishing the points in 10th. I'm also going to give him an 8 out of 10. In qualifying, he definitely impressed me more. But in the main race, I felt it was a little bit underwhelming from him, to be honest. Had the Verstappen and Antonelli not DNF'd, he wouldn't even be in the points. And he did get beaten by Colapinto in the race, so that's that. Now we move on to Gabriel Bortoleto, who started the sprint 12th and finished in 13th. Started the main race 11th, finished it 8th. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Points once again while his teammate Hulkenberg was behind out of the points. And definitely a really good result here. He really impressed me in the main weekend section, which is the main qualifying and the main race. I felt like he did really well there and comfortably beat his teammate, in my opinion. Speaking of which, his teammate Nico Hulkenberg started the sprint 13th, finished 15th. Started the main race 12th, did not finish. So although the qualifying was seemed that Bortoleto and him finished quite close together, I felt that Bortoleto was definitely the better driver here. And Hulkenberg, I can't remember what happened to his DNF. Was it a mechanical issue, I believe? I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 because it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. It's just straight down the middle. So I think a 5 is really deserving. Now we move on to Esteban Ocon, who started the sprint in 17th, finished it 16th. Started the main race in 17th, finished it 13th. Although it was a kind of a good recovery drive in the main race, we have to remember there was quite a few people that DNF'd, including 2 of the front runners. And I think his performance was definitely worse than those that I gave a higher score in front of him. So I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. A bit harsh, maybe, but still. Next up, Ollie Behrman. Started the sprint 16th, finished it 14th. Started the main race 13th, finished it in 12th. I'm going to give him a 5.5 out of 10. A better weekend than Ocon for sure, but still no points to show for it. Has been a bit unlucky, I would say. I did predict him biggest good surprise, but that obviously didn't come through, so yeah. Lance Stroll started the sprint 21st, finished it in 21st. Started the main race in 22nd, finished it in 19th. I'm going to give him a 2 out of 10. Disappointing this entire weekend, to be honest. He did out-qualify Alonso in the main race, but I think he had to serve like engine penalty, so he started last. But still, really underwhelming weekend from Stroll, and hopefully can see more from him. Next up, his teammate Fernando Alonso started the sprint 20th, finished it in 20th. Started the main race in 21st, finished it 18th. I wanted to give him higher, but I just had to demote him for being out-qualified by Stroll in main qualifying. Yes, as I said earlier, because Stroll had to take an engine penalty, that's why he started behind Alonso, or else Alonso would have started dead last in 22nd. Arvid Lindblad started the sprint 10th, finished it 10th. Started the main race in 9th, finished in 7th. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10 worthy drive, but still a really good weekend nonetheless. I think 9 was very deserving. Maybe 9.5, but I'll just stick to 9 for now. Didn't score points in the sprint, but was still comfortably in the top 10. Liam Lawson's the next one to be rated. Started the sprint 9th, finished it 8th. Started the main race 10th, finished it 6th. I'm going to give him a 9.5 out of 10. Not a bad weekend at all, to be honest. I just think he can't be given a 10 because it was not a perfect weekend, definitely. But still, he did well, scoring points in both sessions and really good points in 6th. So 9.5 is deserving. Now we move on to Carlos Sainz, who started the sprint 15th, finished the sprint 17th, started the main race 14th, and finished at 17th as well. I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10. The race performances were really disappointing. He fell backwards in both the sprint and the race, so I don't know how to feel about that. Unhappy, I guess. I think 3 was deserving. But to be fair, Albon was also suffering. We'll get on to him in a bit. But Sainz, who was out of track, he didn't do well. Now move on to Albon, as I said, he was suffering. Started the sprint in the pit lane, finished 18th. Started the main race in 16th, did not even finish the race. So that says enough. I'm going to give him a 2.5 out of 10 because, he practically just used this weekend as a testing session. So can we really judge him based off of that? No. So I think 2.5 is the maximum I'm willing to give him. Lewis Hamilton, the first Ferrari driver to be rated, started the sprint in first, finished it second behind Antonelli. Started the main race third, finished it in third. Thanks FIA, robbery. 9 out of 10 from Hamilton. I want to give him a 10 if he had won something, but nope, he didn't win much. Just one sprint pole. Qualifying was a little bit unfortunate that he finished third because he kind of messed up his lap. And then in the main race, he got robbed by the safety car. Next, Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc started the sprint in 4th, finished it 5th, started the main race 2nd and finished it 1st. Definitely looked like the slower driver out of the 2 Ferraris this weekend. But somehow, he was the one who won the race. Why is that? Because of Hamilton messing up his lap in qualifying and also him just dominating the race while Hamilton fell back. He ran away with the race and Hamilton couldn't do that. I don't understand why. Maybe he just extracted more of the car. Isaac Hadjar started sprint 8th, finished it 9th. Started the main race 5th, finished it 5th. I'm going to give him 8 out of 10 here because it wasn't the best weekend, but a good weekend. Let's put it that. So I think an 8 out of 10 was fair because he actually qualified and finished higher than Max Verstappen, which we'll get into a while. Not much to say about him, honestly. So let's move on to his teammate Max, which I do have things to say about. Started the sprint third, impressive, finished at 6th, sad. Started the main race 7th and did not finish the race. 7 out of 10. He was going well until 5 laps or 4 laps until the race ended. He just crashed because of some understeer, which caused him to crash at Austria as well. So was it his fault? No, but was it ruining my mood for the race? For a while it wasn't. It was making me happy, but then yes, because FIA are incompetent. Kimi Antonelli up next. Started the sprint 2nd, finished it 1st. Started the main race 1st and finished 15th. Although you say finished 15th, you're not going to give him a 10, right? Yes, I am. 10 out of 10 performance by Kimi Antonelli here. The sprint portion was obviously really good there. Qualifying, he still got a pole some more. And then in the main race, he had a brake issue. And he stayed out to try to get 1 point, which he got 5-second penalty for track limits and then fell down because of the safety car. And I really respected the effort, so 10 out of 10. George Russell's the next one I'll be rating. Started the sprint 5th, finished at 4th. Started the main race 4th, finished at 2nd. I'm going to give him a 9.5 out of 10. The sprint portion wasn't really good, to be honest. Antonelli was there qualifying in the front row and winning. Russell could not even get onto the front row, nor the podium. In the main race, he just got lucky, honestly. Antonelli and Verstappen should have both finished ahead of him. In fact, Hamilton as well. So 9.5. They are followed by Oscar Piastri. Started the sprint 7th, finished it 7th. Started the main race in 8th, finished it 11th. I'm going to give Piastri a 6 out of 10 because it wasn't anything to be noteworthy of. I'm not sure what happened to him at the start of the race. I'm pretty sure they said, but I just can't remember. Then he just slowly fell down by there. And just disappointing, to be honest. Finally, the reigning world champion Lando Norris. Is he going to win another one this year? Probably not. Started the sprint 6th, finished it 3rd. Started the main race in 6th, finished it 4th. I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. Definitely a better weekend than his teammate Piastri, but is it the best weekend out there? Definitely not as well. Didn't manage to get onto the podium for the main race, and he said his target was the win. A bit unfortunate there with the safety car though. So here are my driver ratings rankings. In first, I have Antonelli with a 10 out of 10 for the very respectable drive. Leclerc, 10 out of 10 as well for the win. In third, 9.5 Russell. Fourth, 9.5 Lawson. Hamilton and Lindblad both with 9 out of 10s, and 5th and 6th. Bortoletto in 7th, also with a score of 9. Norris, Colapinto, Hadjar and Gasly all with 8 out of 10s. 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. 12th goes to Verstappen with 7 out of 10. 13th, 14th, 15th goes to drivers with 6 out of 10s. Piastri, Bottas and Perez. 5.5 lands you in 16th place with Behrman. Hülkenberg with a score of 5 out of 10 lands him in 17th. 18th goes to Ocon with a score of 4. Sainz and Alonso, the two Spaniards, both on 3 points, 19th and 20th. 21st goes to Albon, 2.5. And 22nd in dead last goes to Stroll with a score of 2 out of 10. And more F1 bingo, still no updates. Verstappen and Russell looked like they were going to collide multiple times, but never did. So I guess that's the closest I ever got. No driver crash under the safety car, although it was also looking likely. That's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!